This is Back to Back.
Yo, what's up, back-to-backers? This is Willy Joy. Welcome to the show. This is Back to Back. This is my podcast. Hope everybody out there is recovering if you were out in Vegas last weekend. And if you did happen to be out at EDC, you might have seen today's guest on the show. He goes by the name of Borgore. Been wanting to do this one for a while. He's somebody we've gotten a lot of requests for over the last year. And it finally happened, man. We linked up, had a great conversation. You're going to hear all about it in just a minute. Borgore just released his new jazz album. Again, Borgore just released a jazz album. It's called Adventures in Time, and it's actually really good. I think for a lot of people, that's a curveball coming from someone like him. But as you're about to hear, his background, his musical knowledge, it goes a lot deeper than you might know. And he's touring all throughout festival season. We talk about this too. This guy just never stops touring. He's going to be at Spring Awakening Festival in Chicago, Ever After Festival out in Canada. He's going back to Europe later this summer. And if you don't catch him at the festivals, I don't think I'm allowed to give you these details, but in the fall, he's got something planned for everybody else. So just stay tuned. Before we get into that conversation, little business off the top. Keep your eyes on my social media this week. I have something really big to tell you guys. It has to do with me. It has to do with this show. It has to do with a big new project. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. If you don't catch it this week, by the time next week rolls around, I'm going to tell you everything. But just keep an eye out, man. I'm really excited. In the meantime, make sure you're subscribed to this show. Click the subscribe button on whatever platform you're using to listen. Each week, every episode is just going to get delivered straight to you. You don't have to worry about missing a single one. Also, our Spotify playlist, Back to Bangers, is where you can go to hear all the music from this show, everything we talk about, all the freshest sounds. I'm putting a link to that in the description of this episode, along with a link to where you can check out the new Borgore jazz album, all of his dates, all of my dates, everything that's going on. Check out the description. And I want to know where you guys are going to be this summer too. Hit me up at BackToBackPod or at WillyJoy on all social media, or you can email me backtobackpod@gmail.com. Let me know who you're going to go see. If you're hitting any of the festivals, let me know which ones you're excited about. And hopefully we run into each other this summer. So for this conversation with Borgore, we met up at his hotel room kind of late at night, right before he was heading off to play a show. It might actually be the latest I've ever recorded one of these conversations. Definitely in the top 5. And it was great, man. We've met a couple times just in passing, never really knew each other. Have a ton of mutual friends, and I didn't really know what to expect, but he was a really interesting guy. Crazy story to get from where he started to where he is now. A lot of insight, and I think if you only know him from kind of the big media entries about Borgore, this is going to be a really eye-opening conversation for you. We went pretty deep on a lot of different stuff, you know, from his musicianship to his philosophy to kind of just his whole attitude about his career and his life. I was really impressed, man. This was a cool one. Let's get into it right now. This is me and Borgore back to back. Let's go. We're here in San Diego. You came down from LA.
Yes, sir.
Nick was telling me that you guys were going to try to go to the zoo. Did you make it?
We totally missed it.
Oh, man. Have
because
you been
of traffic. And I've been to the zoo when I was, I think, 18 or 19.
But like the
with
San
my whole
Diego
family.
zoo?
Yeah. I've been here when I was where wasn't that? I don't know. I've been in the San Diego Zoo. I don't remember when.
Yeah, it's one of the best, man. It's well, so if you were here with your family, when did you move to Los Angeles?
Like 8 years ago, I would say, or 9 years ago.
Okay.
But like, yeah, dude, we were traveling family, you know. We went seeing the world.
All the time, like from a little kid, they were taking you around.
Yeah, that was the thing.
And you were born in Israel.
Israel, correct.
How long did you live there? Was it you lived there until you moved to Los
I
Angeles?
lived there till I was like 24, 25.
Okay.
That's kind of crazy. Okay, so like 5 years in LA.
Yeah.
I kind of moved to LA before I moved to LA. You know what I mean?
No, what do you mean?
Kind of like I was living there, but I wasn't officially living. Like I didn't have an apartment, but I was actually living there.
Okay.
So
Just crashing with
between
friends.
official and you know what I mean. So it's kind of vague.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I mean, growing up in Israel, I'm a Jew, but I'm a terrible Jew. I never
Okay.
made the birthright trip, none of that. So I've never been. And I have no concept of what actually growing up there was like.
It's strange.
Yeah.
Especially the era that I grew up in was very. It was when shit got really heated. So I was growing up again around like buses blowing up all the time.
That was a legitimate worry. Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. But at the same time, I was young, so I didn't understand the concept of buses blowing up.
Right. Of
So
course.
I wasn't worried. My mom was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I was like, "Mom, I'm going to my whatever. I'm taking the bus."
Yeah.
It's like, "No, you're not." I'm like, "Well, that's my only mean of transportation." So,
I mean, did you have a sense of the conflict that was happening at the time?
no, really,
was
dude.
anyone
We
telling
didn't know
you anything?
No, I mean, you get involved, but and you're starting to get an opinion when you're younger. But yeah, but you do a lot of things when you're young that are dumb as fuck.
Of course.
Now shit like this scares me, dude.
Of course.
I am actually like when I go to public places, I'm thinking about like, the shit that just happened in Vegas.
Yeah, I know.
That shit is crazy, dude. And it's things that we don't need to be worried about, but now we are.
Yeah,
You know
it's,
what I
it's
mean?
crazy time. Well, and I mean, our job is to go be in giant crowds. Every
Exactly,
night,
dude.
know?
It's scary.
Yeah, it is. I mean, has it affected you beyond just kind of ambient anxiety? Did you change the way you do anything?
Not at all.
Yeah. I mean, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have security or we don't really take security measures.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should actually say this. Dude, I have a huge detail with me at all time.
Exactly. Yeah, somebody out there is taking
And
notes.
really big dudes just hanging out with me. The Mossad is watching me at all times.
All times. You are the most important Israeli.
No, I try to stay optimistic about everything, actually.
Yeah. What did your parents do?
One of them, my dad works in IBM. My mom is she's a businesswoman. She has her own business. She's doing actually really well. So I actually grew up in a family that the mom runs the house, kind of.
Okay.
None of them is musicians. What happened is I went to a music private school since I was young. It was an arts private school. It was for me, I had to choose between ballet and jazz. And I picked jazz. And yeah, and I just learned jazz my whole life. And then I had to go to the army. And then in the army, I thought I'm going to be like a broker or a doctor or a lawyer or some shit.
Right,
And
right. So in Israel, it's mandated, what, 2 years, 3 years?
3
in the
years
army?
for males, 2 years for females.
Was that something you were excited to do? Like, was it looked on as kind of a service?
I don't see anyone getting, you don't get excited to go to the army.
Right.
It's it's intense.
I can imagine. I mean,
It's
what
like,
did they have
it's
you
like
doing?
going to prison.
Right.
You don't have any rights. You do whatever you're being told. Otherwise, you're going to prison.
Right.
Uh,
What did you actually do? What did they have you
I
doing?
was a trainer.
Okay.
I was more in shape then than I am today.
Yeah, I feel you. on
Yeah,
that.
when I was training, I was a trainer.
Okay. Well, that seems like out of all the possible options, maybe.
Yeah,
not
I
the
got
worst
really
one.
lucky because I was in one of the Israel climbing teams. I was a climber. Went to these tests to go to this unit that teaches all the special units how to mountain climb, how to jump from helicopters, shit like that.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not really a social person, so I didn't get accepted to the unit.
Right.
But they were under the unit that has all the trainers. So they were like, "Oh, you're climbing. Oh, you're in shape. All right, let's take you."
Okay.
I was supposed to be infantry.
Well, yeah,
I got somehow lucky.
That's a lucky break for sure.
Yeah.
And was there, a lot of conflict happening at the time? Like, could you have been put into some hairy situations?
I got bombarded a lot.
Really?
Yeah, like mortars.
Wow.
But I wasn't actually shooting at anyone. I was most of the times was just chilling in my tent, praying that it won't hit the tent.
Man, I mean, what else? What else can you do, right?
Yeah, they're like, everyone put your vests and put your helmets and go back to sleep. And I was like,
Man.
It's kind of hard. I feel like I'm in a Saving Private Ryan simulator right now. Just like,
I mean, that kind of thing. Did it? Hearing you talk about it, it's hard to even imagine when you were in it. Does that even feel real, or is it just?
Dude, it's so weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, it fucked some people up. Like some people ran out of my tent in boxers, starting screaming crazy shit. Like a lot of people went crazy. And for a couple good months after that, craziness, every time that my phone would ring for my alarm, I would put my shoes as quick as possible and I was like ready to run somewhere. And then I was like, oh shit, wait, I'm like not close to anywhere. So I guess I had like a 3-4 months PSD, it's called, or whatever.
Yeah, PTSD.
PTSD. Yeah. But yeah, dude, I can't even imagine, like, that wasn't even,
Right.
Like, I remember going to the hospital, visiting some infantry that I was training, and I was literally seeing, dude, there was like this beautiful chick standing next to what used to be a dude that I guess was a good-looking dude or whatever, and you're looking at it looked like a coal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just burnt completely. Right. And it was, dude, it's fucked up.
Yeah, that's intense, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's nuts. I mean, just the idea of mandatory military service, I think, like in America, if they tried to bring the draft back, there'd be a revolt. It would be crazy.
But if it's a situation that you have to protect your country, would you?
I'd like to think I would, but I think it's one of those situations that you don't really know until you're put in it.
Well, you know what? I wish for no one in the world to fight. It fucking sucks.
Amen.
And I think that usually wars are between governments.
Yes.
But I believe that the people that actually live in all these countries that are fighting all just want to raise families and go to Omnia and drink some fucking vodka or whatever and chill.
Absolutely.
And talk about music and
absolutely
and just watch football and live their lives.
Right.
I don't think, I mean, there is crazy people, but
they're the minority, right?
Exactly. I think that most people just want to chill, dude.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. And I mean, maybe that's a good way to sort of talk about what you ended up doing afterwards. Because if you had this jazz background, were you playing an instrument?
Yeah, I was on a saxophone. But at the same time, during the army, my friends, some of my good friends started a band that didn't have a drummer.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, fine, I'll learn how to play the drums. Cannot be that hard. For 3 months, all I did is practice Lamb of God and At the Gates records.
Nice.
And we did a At the Gates Lamb of God cover show.
Okay.
Later, we started writing songs that literally sounds like Lamb of God and At the Gates had a kid.
Yeah, as you do. I mean, I think any young band, even any young producer, that's how you start.
Yeah, no, 100%, dude.
So, I mean, what kind of music, it sounds like you were listening to metal, but what else were you getting exposed to there? Like, what the non-Israeli culture was reaching you at the time?
Dude, but the thing is with Israeli culture, Tel Aviv is one of the most cultural cities.
Right.
I mean, I think it's comparable to some parts in New York, the more underground hipster parts, or to Berlin.
Sure.
Or London,
I mean, it's a
major
hub.
It's super, super cultural. There's 3 or 4 huge arts schools. Like I grew up around tons of musicians, and I'm talking about like insane musicians. Like
Right.
one of the best pianists in the world was in my class. One of the best drummers in the world was in my class. The best jazz player there is no best because it's subjective.
Right.
But one
insanely talented.
One of the best bass players in the world right now was my teacher. I don't know if you know Avishai Cohen.
I know the name.
Okay, he used to play bass for Chick Corea.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd be why I know that.
Yeah, he's a big deal. He used to be my teacher.
That's amazing.
So, and also we're very liberal, gay capital of Europe, although we're not in Europe for the past like 5 or 6 years.
Right. So you were kind of getting everything in real time.
So, dude, you go out in Tel Aviv every night. There's tons of parties, and I'm not talking about like Stevie Aoki, Marshmallow, Tiesto. I'm talking about underground drum and bass, underground techno, underground minimal. It's like the cool things are not cool in Tel Aviv. You feel it?
Yeah, I know exactly.
There is a market for it. When Stevie Aoki or Marshmallow or Tiesto comes to Israel, there's huge crowd.
Right.
But it's not the core of Tel Aviv.
Right. There's a strong underground.
Yeah, and this is where I used to hang. This is where I still hang when I go there. It's all this like small clubs the size of this room with like 200 kids. Kids, fucking 30 years old, on Monday at 3 a.m. dancing to like techno, and the other room next to it is an art gallery.
Sounds
it's
great.
like sounds
insane. Amazing. I mean, what was your early exposure to electronic music? Like, what did you hear first that really caught your ear?
The first thing I listened to was probably, dude, anything that was on MTV. So Prodigy,
yeah.
But at the same time, Venga Boys.
Right.
Like,
MTV wasn't really discriminating.
Yeah, there was just like, dude, it was a lot of weird shit.
Yeah.
And I always say that I went to the record store back then because there was no internet really. There was internet, but it was in the very beginning. And I would go to the record store with like, yo, I want to listen to Prodigy. And in Israel, everyone's listening to trance. They're like, oh, electronic music, check trance. So I grew up listening to a lot of like trance.
Yeah, that is a big sound in Israel, right?
It's huge. It's still, it's huge. They love trance.
Yeah.
But not like Armin and Tiesto. We're talking about like psychedelic fucking, you go to the desert, drive 2 hours into nothing, and then there's a guy giving you like something, and you drive 2 hours more into the desert, into a huge fucking desert party that plays fucking psychedelic trance.
Yeah. It's so funny, man, the way, so like for me, I grew up in Minnesota and I grew up playing jazz trumpet. And very similar, I grew up going to these kind of underground raves. It's so funny that we had these similar experiences across the world from each other, but just because of the environment. Like for me, it was always icy and cold. You drive out to a bar and, that kind of thing. Yeah. But it's so funny that across the world, these things can happen kind of at the same time.
Yeah, dude. In Israel, when I was like 13, 14, I already had a beard. So I'd go to all these underground clubs.
Yeah.
And it would be just mainly German and French techno producers, like and some underground breakcore and drum and bass.
Yeah.
It was depending on the night. And then randomly in my neighborhood bar in like 2006, literally it's a place that I went to every night to finish the night because it was just a spot. And every night there would be a different DJ. One night it would be like hip hop, 90s, Britney Spears, fucking every night would be different. One night I was there and these two dudes started playing in 2006 music that I've never heard before. And it was dubstep.
Okay.
I was like, what the fuck is this? They're like, yo, it's this dude Scream. Oh, it's this dude Mala. Check it out. It's cool. It's called dubstep.
Wow.
It's new.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, when is the next party? And they're like, yo, Benga's coming. And I was like, hell yeah. And I went to the Benga show, and the whole time I thought it's Benga, but Benga never showed up. So they actually, it was someone else DJing. I was like, oh,
but at that point, it probably didn't even matter.
I didn't fucking know. I didn't know. But it was just so sick.
So was that kind of the culture at the time? I mean, even as, 14, 15 years old, you're going out to shows. That's a common thing in Israel? Or were you kind of, partying more than some of your friends?
I think that around the arts schools, it's very common.
Okay.
That and around Tel Aviv, the hipsters, yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely that youth culture
It's you'll see some 15, 16 hanging out in bars with 30, 40.
Did you have any thought at that age, being so involved in music, that it could be something you could do later in life, like something you could do for a job?
I had no idea. I was dreaming about it, but I never...
Like you wouldn't let yourself think that it could be real?
Okay, so when I was actually started to touring, I was still going to... Before you go to university in Israel, you have to go through a test that determines, then universities look at this test and they decide if you're good enough.
Okay.
So I was in classes for that test. Everyone does it. It's called whatever. And usually you finish the army, you go do the test, you go into university. So for the first 6-7 months after the army, I was still in a university mode.
Yeah.
I was sure that I'm going. And then I realized that I suck at the classes because I'm so concentrated in producing, and I suck at producing because I'm so concentrated in the classes, and it's just not working. So I told my parents, listen, usually after the army, people fly to Thailand to do drugs, fly to India to do drugs, fly to South America to do drugs. I don't want to do drugs. I just want to sit home and write music. If you can finance me for a year, I'll go study whatever the fuck you want me to study.
Yeah.
Just finance me for a year. And during that year, I made it.
Yeah, it's so funny, man, because so many producers have that kind of story where, they just need that 1 year.
Yeah.
And how did your parents react? Were they all right with it?
Well, I keep saying this story, dude. Like, I was already touring. I think I already played even fucking Coachella or some shit. And my dad was sitting with me at dinner. He was like, yo, so DJing is cool, but when are you going to university? I was like, I guess I'm not.
Yeah.
No, but they're super supportive. Like, they're insane supportive. And
yeah.
My sister is also like, she was trying to find herself in music. She's still kind of, but like, my parents just don't put pressure. They're very liberal. Yeah,
and if your mom is an entrepreneur herself.
Dude, my mom decided at the age of 33 to quit her job and start a business.
That's amazing.
And she can finance me and my whole family and we can all chill.
That's amazing. And
she's doing amazing. She's doing great.
No, that's really inspirational.
My dad was like the dude with the stable job in IBM as a project manager, whatever. And I don't think a lot of people believed in my mom, and she fucking kills it, dude. So this is why she's always like, yo, you guys should do whatever you believe in rather than whatever is the right thing to do.
For sure. Well, and I'm sure even just hearing about it, that's very inspiring to me. I would imagine that would help even push you to go harder on what you're trying to do.
Yeah. And she was like, she had a lot of illnesses. I remember myself as a kid, dude. I had to call 911 like every 2-3 weeks because literally we needed an ambulance. I've seen them like doing the to my mom in my fucking house.
Wow.
And when she quitted her job and started her own shit, most of it was gone. Like she's a different person.
That's amazing. I mean, do you think part of it is the mental aspect?
100%. I feel like when you enjoy waking up in the morning, it just makes you healthier, I think.
Yeah, I think that's true. And when you have, a goal that's your own.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so for you, having that year, you were already starting to produce tracks? Had you been before that?
Dude, I already had records out. I already had shows.
So when did you start producing?
So when I was like really young, in the art school, one of the classes was learning how to use computers to write partituras. How do you say in English? Partitura?
I don't know.
Partitura is when you take one piece, classical or jazz, whatever, and write it to 17, 20 players.
Oh, like transcribing.
So you have one paper for yourself that shows all the parts for all the players. Right. And then from then
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's
the only person that didn't use it is Mozart, which actually wrote the part for each and every player instead of having it all together and then...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was a genius, so he didn't need it.
Wow.
So usually when you do when you write music to a lot of players, you're gonna have one paper
Right.
that you do all the harmonics there, so you can see it.
Right.
He didn't need to see it. He was just like, okay, this is what the violin gonna play. This
That's
is what
pretty
the fucking
amazing.
trombone's gonna play. I just remember. It's okay.
I had a trumpet teacher when I was a kid who recorded with Prince a few times. And he told me this story that Prince would just come in, like they'd all be there, the session players, and Prince would just come in and he would like hear what they had been doing. And then without even thinking, he would just tell them, okay, now you need to play this. And he would just sing their part, not looking at anything, not writing anything, and just sing it. And then be like, okay, record that. And then just leave again.
Damn. Some people are smarter, dude. Yeah.
Or some people have just that connection to music. I don't even know if it's smarter.
Dude, with Mozart, it's not a connection. It's literally the guy was, he had some
Well, yeah.
inhuman skills. Dude.
Absolutely.
And it's mathematical completely. It's not even
Yes.
at this level. It's nothing to do with music. It's just mathematics.
That's absolutely right. And
And I'm sure that if he was living today, he would be a scientist or some shit.
you're probably right. And it's, we talk about Mozart all the time, but I don't think people actually think about what he really did. Like, because you think about the music that Mozart wrote, there was nothing like it. Just what he had to invent, how creative he had to be to just make that music with no template.
He was sick. I don't really like him, but I don't like his music. I'm more of a Bach guy. And Mozart, all his shit is very happy besides his last piece. That being said, back to that. So when I was young, we had computer lessons on how to use computers to write notes for the players.
Right.
So during these lessons, I would try to learn how to produce, I would ask my teacher some questions about how do I make trance? So he would show me Cubase or Fruity Loops or Reason.
Oh, that's cool.
And he would show me little things. And I had no idea shit about shit. So I bought a synthesizer.
Right.
Just because I was like, oh, okay, this is how you make electronic music? You use a synthesizer?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and then
That's
I
great
slowly and gradually learned how to use Fruity Loops. But really putting out records.
Well, yeah.
Maybe when I was 17 or 18, I started putting out very amateur records. And my first professional record under Borgore was probably when I was 20 or 21.
Okay. And how were you putting them out at the time? Were you
MySpace.
Yeah. I miss the MySpace days.
Those were the best days, dude.
They really were.
I keep saying that there used to be major labels who control music. If you weren't in the record store, you didn't exist. Then came the internet with MySpace and YouTube and all that shit. And all of a sudden, people like me in Israel, we could make music and have ourselves heard. And then Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all that shit started with those algorithms and all that bullshit. SoundCloud died, and Spotify is now controlled by the major labels.
Right.
So
it's kind of back to zero.
So we're back to, if you're not on a major label, you don't exist again.
Yeah, it's true. The gatekeepers are back, man. You think about just the people who control the Spotify playlists. It's, 5-10 people, and they're the ones deciding what is and is not going to be a hit. It's
100%.
kind of crazy.
We had a moment when music was objective.
Yeah.
And now it's back to being dictated to us what we're listening to.
It'll be interesting. There's got to be something that eventually breaks it up again, right? But
I don't know, because they invested a lot of money.
Yeah, it's not going to happen tomorrow, but
they really want to have the ability to control.
A lot of people seem stoked about blockchain and that sort of thing for decentralizing that control, but I don't know if I see that yet.
Yeah, I hear about blockchain a lot, but this bubble kind of bursted.
That's the other part of it, right?
Blockchain is too tricky.
Yeah, people don't understand what it is yet, just for an average listener.
I don't think if we're going into the simplest We go to what mostly it's being used, blockchain for currencies.
Yeah.
I don't think countries will allow blockchain for currencies just because they cannot tax it.
Yeah, it's totally unregulated. I mean, even now, I think probably the IRS is scrambling to try to find all the people who made a bunch of money in this last year.
They cannot prove how much money they made.
Yeah, it's kind of Wild West shit, man.
Super Wild West. So I don't know, dude.
Yeah, I don't know either. But I mean,
it's a great idea. Blockchain is a great idea.
Yeah.
It's going to be implemented eventually, but
yeah, all this shit is going to take time.
Yeah.
But going back to the MySpace days, the good old days, do you remember sort of the first thing you put up there that really...
Guided Relaxation Dub was the first record I put, and actually it took off.
Yeah? How did people hear it? Like, what did you have any sort of big names that found it?
Dude, okay, so my last year in the army, my first 2 years I was on the lines. Like, my job was to be a trainer for people in the lines. The last year, I was mentally done. I could not. They just changed my commander to a dick commander. They just changed our camp commander to a dick camp commander. That before that, I could deal with the army because my personal commander was a human being.
Right.
He was a good dude. Dude, I don't feel good. Okay, don't do this. Or dude, low-key went out last night. I'm fucking hungover. Okay, chill in the room. I'll cover you. Shit like that, you know? Then they changed it to a fucking dick. And also the base commander, they changed him to a base commander that all of a sudden decided, usually there's a hierarchy between the soldiers. You've been in the army 3 years. You're not going to fucking go clean toilets every morning.
Right.
Just it was
you paid your dues.
Exactly, dude. That was tradition, basically. You know, I'm sure that this is how it goes in colleges here or whatever.
Oh, sure.
Dude, I'm 2.5 years into my fucking army service. This dude shows up telling me to wake up every morning at 7 and start cleaning like random shit that like no one ever asked you to clean before, like cigarette butts outside of our dorms.
Man.
I don't even smoke. I'm a fucking trainer. Why would I pick cigarette butts that I didn't even fucking throw there?
Yeah,
dude, I was on the edge mentally, so I had to move. I moved to a different base that is called an open base, which you come every day and you go home every day.
Oh, okay.
You don't stay there for like 2 weeks,
right?
Essentially. So I was in the highest ranks in the army. They have a gym. I was their gym dude, which means that like at 7:30, 8 a.m., there's like fucking 30 people, and then they all go to their meetings, and I don't do anything till the evening when they come again from their meetings, basically.
Right.
So how does this connect to the MySpace? Is from like around 10 a.m. to fucking 7 p.m. all I would do is friend request people on MySpace.
Nice.
That's the only thing I would do.
Right.
Literally just sit there for fucking 10 hours, send friend request. And I'll go to different countries. I'll be like, okay, for the next hour, I'm just going to send a friend request in America.
Yeah.
For the next hour, friend request in England. I'll just send friend requests to thousands of people.
Man. That's such a funny like caveman way of like building that.
Because there was bots, but I was like,
were there bots even back then?
Yeah. I was using some bots to like send friend requests,
right?
But I would also go and like handpick like, oh, they're following this person, I'll send them. It was kind of like a retarded, but it worked for me, dude. All of a sudden, I get plays and like
What the music you were making, because I think the first song I heard of yours was Saturday Night.
Okay.
And was that pretty early on, or was that kind of...
That was very early.
Yeah. That one was crazy, man. I think...
But that one that one actually got printed on a vinyl, I think, and got a proper release.
Yeah.
In the beginning, no one wanted to fucking talk to me about a release because the music was so different.
Yeah, well, that was sort of my question is, when you were making the music... Did you see it as kind of fitting in with the scene? Like, did you have an intention at that point, or were you just kind of trying to just create?
I tried to sound like people, but I just didn't sound like them.
Yeah.
I didn't. Again, dude, I grew up in Tel Aviv. There was no YouTube tutorials back there. There was nothing. So it was just like me trying.
Yeah. Did you get any backlash from, the dubstep community?
Of course,
at
dude. This
large?
is my first album was called Borgore Ruined Dubstep because
Yep.
on the dubstep forums, we had a dubstep forum that was where you go to check shit.
Right.
Not Twitter or anything. And dude, I didn't even hear about Twitter back then. There was no even Facebook back then.
Right,
Fuck
right,
that.
right.
So there was dubstep forums, and all the fucking forums were like how I ruined dubstep. So my first album was like, Borgore Ruined Dubstep.
Yeah, which I
That
like.
was the name of the album.
I still remember that. Man.
Fuck y'all.
Well, it was my favorite. The Saturday night track. I was living in Chicago when that came out, and I had a monthly party I would do out there. And every month at the end of the night, I would play Saturday night to just get people the fuck out of the club.
Oh, hell yeah.
It was great, man.
It's actually an interesting record because it's 3 4s over 4 4s
Right.
in double time. So it's weird.
Yeah, it's
it's
weird record.
145, I think, or 140. I think 145. But it's actually like a metal thing when they go triplets.
Right.
Over 4. It's strange.
Yeah, no, it's a weird one.
It's a polyrhythm in a more complex form.
Yeah, which I mean, I always loved. I don't know. I don't know if there's a way to work those kinds of ideas into, like modern EDM kind of stuff.
Oh,
but
dude, I used to like producing like weird BPMs, not giving a fuck about BPM, not giving a fuck about anything. I have like weird song structures, not necessarily an intro, build up, drop,
Right.
build up, drop. But you know what? I look at the SoundCloud hip hop producers now, and I feel like they're doing what I did, like
hopefully, man.
because like you see all of a sudden there's weird BPMs.
Right. I think we need
the,
more
the,
of that.
The structure is not necessarily.
Yeah.
Everything is more genuine.
I hope so, man. I mean, I think part of the reason that SoundCloud started to die was there was too much of the same thing. It just felt like
and all
waiting
this
through.
fucking share groups and all that shit.
Yeah, it just kind of ate itself. So I hope there's more. I mean, there is a lot of incredible new music now, but I feel like it's a lot harder to find because you have to sift through.
I haven't been on SoundCloud in a year.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going on there.
Well, just in general, that's the way I feel. I don't know. I mean, there's amazing music, but there's just so many people making music now, and so much of it sounds the same. I don't know. I mean, how do you find new music now?
Okay, so there's a bunch of kids I work with. I always listen to what are you guys?
Yeah.
What are you guys playing in your sets? Oh, this is sick. Also, I have 2 labels, and I have great A&Rs.
Right.
And I always ask people around me, dude,
Yeah.
what do you listen to? Send me some records.
It's probably the best way. That's pretty much what I do at this point, too.
And I pay attention to the labels that I like.
When did you form your label, Borgore, your label?
Like 2 years in.
Okay. That's pretty early on.
Super early on, but like that was my only option. If I want more, because dude, I was playing my records.
And just nobody
I was
trying to work
touring
with you.
hard as fuck, had millions of views on shit, and no one wanted to release it. So I was like, I guess I'm gonna release it by myself.
Well, I like that because I think there's a certain type of person who would get discouraged by that. But, for you, I mean, we just talked about you put out the album Borgore Ruined Dubstep.
Yeah.
You make your own label if no one else is going to work with you. Were you always kind of that go-getter attitude or even like a little provocative?
I think that's my mom.
Yeah.
My mom's genetics. Okay, I'm just going to make shit happen.
Yeah.
No matter what people want, no matter what people say, if I think it's going to work, it's going to fucking work.
Yeah.
But I definitely did. When I was younger, I was a little bit crazier.
Do you like pissing people off? Like, is that part of the fun?
Dude, now I'm 30 years old. I don't have the energy to piss people off.
That's fair.
I just don't have the energy anymore.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stay out of negativity.
That's good.
Yeah, dude, I'm too tired. I look at all this again, SoundCloud rappers, and how much drama is there, and I'm just like,
it's crazy.
Fuck, dude.
It's exhausting to even just read about.
Yeah, but some of the skits, dude, like you remember when X got punched?
Yeah.
And now Tekashi has a lot of heat. I would just be scared to go play shows.
Because it's those guys, I mean, in that whole world, it just seems so much more like reckless and Wild West kind of shit.
They're reckless, dude. And we're
because
kind of
DJs, like if you have beef with another DJ, you're not gonna go punch him. You know what I mean? It's like DJ beef is pretty lame.
yeah, to an extent. I've seen things before.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, so have I. But I feel like just in general,
it's in general, yeah, it's more chill.
yeah,
We don't go and stab and shoot people.
yeah. Amen.
It usually ends pretty.
Yeah.
If there is a fight, it's a pretty quick fight.
Yeah. Well, for you, so you're putting these records out. You start Borgore a few years into it, and you said you had already been touring at that point.
Yeah.
Where did you start touring? Do you remember the first out of
my first show was in
country show?
Belgium.
Okay.
Fuck, how did they call it? Tension Step.
Tension Step?
That was the name of the festival.
Okay.
I guess that's how they called the new wave of like aggressive dubstep or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't remember who was. I think it was me and Broken Note, which is I think used to be 16 Beats other project. It was like a heavy dubstep festival in Belgium.
How old were you?
I was 21. I just got out of the army.
Yeah.
I played only 2 other shows before that in my whole life.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even know how to DJ. I didn't think I have more than 45 minutes and I had to play for an hour.
How'd it go?
Probably not good. Probably, if I was in the crowd, I wouldn't have fun, but...
Right. Did you have fun up there?
No, I was nervous as fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it was strange. All of a sudden, there was a million people there, like fans. I was like, the concept of having a fan, I was like, what the fuck?
It's a weird thing.
How do I have fans?
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
I mean, even
still
now,
to this day,
right?
I'm like, it's kind of like, yeah.
Yeah.
The concept is really awkward for me.
So it sounded like Europe was kind of your entry point to the rest of the world, the first place you started touring around.
Yep.
When was the first time you played in the States? Do you remember?
9 or 10. First cities were Miami, Chicago, Minnesota, Seattle, and Little Rock.
Whoa, Little Rock.
Yeah.
Shout out to Little Rock.
Yeah.
Even now, barely anybody goes to play Little Rock.
Yeah, dude, I've only been there once since.
And I guess if you had already been to the U.S., maybe it wasn't as big of a culture shock. Were the shows different? Did playing shows here feel different?
Super different, dude. Europe doesn't have this candy shit. There's no rave culture in Europe. And where I grew up, people that the people that went to dubstep parties were the same hipsters that go to art galleries. And it was hipster. It wasn't like ravey. Everyone would be dressed like Stranger Things. They wouldn't be dressed like fuzzy boots and candy.
Did that change the way you operated it at all? Did it change the way you did your shows, the different culture over here?
No, I'd still play the same music. It's just different crowds.
And then you moved to LA probably not too long after that? Is that about
No,
right?
I moved to LA like 4 or 5 years later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would go from Israel. I would tour from Israel.
How was that? You must have been on a lot of overseas flights.
No,
for
that's
a
the
few
thing. I
years
was
there.
tired living out of a suitcase. That's what I moved to America. Just because I could not do the suitcase anymore. I would literally leave. I won't be home for 3-4 months.
Yeah.
I was over it.
Did you like the touring lifestyle at first?
I loved it. I loved touring. Even in the army, the first 2.5 years I was on the lines, that's what I would do. Every night I would go to a different base. So I was always a nomad. Right now, it's getting harder just because I want to be in my studio. I want to raise dogs. I want to have a dog, dogs in plural.
Right.
I want to be with my family. I want to play video games on my computer with my internet, with my setup.
Yeah, of course.
It's...
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
Touring is fun. It's just, dude, doing it for 10 years straight, it's kind of intense. Dude.
Shave some years off your life, for sure.
Well, yeah, if it takes me from 90 to 70, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Nothing happens in these years anyway.
Yeah, you're
so at least
right.
I had the best of 20 to 30, right?
No, you're probably right, man. I don't think there's I love touring in general. I'm not sick of it yet, but I definitely can envision a time in my life when I'm ready
I
to
just
hang
wish
it
it was more like month home, month not home, intense.
Well, yeah, because you've just kind of always been on the road, right?
I'm always on the road. That for 10 years I haven't been off the fucking road, dude. And it's a blessing and it's a curse.
Right.
Like, but I'm sure that everyone, no one, like, everything has pluses and minuses, dude. I'm sure that, like, there is no dream job. Like, I think about, like, video game players and how much I like playing video games. I imagine them, like, before competitions or during competition, or some of the fun aspect of stuff, even if you love it, goes away when it becomes a job.
Absolutely, man.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, because it's when that line between work and play gets blurred.
When it's between, like, playing and having fun, playing video games and having fun with your friends, to, okay, today I have to practice this. You know?
Exactly.
Tomorrow I have to win this.
Right. Or for us,
or even like I'm thinking about skateboarding. Like, there's a difference between, like, yo, I'm gonna go skate, do some, have some fun, and oh shit, if I don't jump these 13 stairs, like doing this and this, I won't get a sponsorship.
Right.
And
it can sour it for you for sure. I mean, you see it happen to musicians all the time. People can get burnt out touring. They can, get stressed out feeling like they got to put out new music all the time.
Dude, I'm always stressed.
Really?
And I'm always stressed because you cannot never relax. You have a big record, you already have to think, what's the next big record?
Yeah.
And also, like, I don't think that back in the day you had to do social media.
Right.
And today, like, I cannot take a day off, one day off, a single fucking day. Every day I have to, like, make sure that there was at least one post somewhere that I check what's going on, what people are saying.
It's crazy, man.
If I'm going to leave my phone away from me for a week, I'm going to hurt my career. And it's crazy. It's a weird ass concept.
It's bizarre, man. And I hate, it's my least favorite part of the job, 100%.
It's the most important part of the job right now. Like, look at the people that pop.
Yeah.
Lil Pump was heavy social person.
Yeah. All the big SoundCloud rappers.
Even,
are the guys.
Look at fucking Jake Paul, dude.
Oh, yeah.
His record probably has more views than any of my fucking records. And I've been a professional musician. I'm trying really hard my whole life.
Yeah.
And this dude never had a record before. Rhymes shit about God's church. Like, I don't know what is he saying. Not taking away from Jake Paul. I'm not trying to throw shade at anyone. I'm just saying that, like,
I'll throw some shade at him. I'll take that.
Okay, you can take it. But, like, I'm just saying, like, yo, if you have a strong enough social media, you come into the music business like no one's business, you know?
No, it's true, man. It's true. And I mean, there's so many stories in the last 5 years, success stories of people.
Danielle Bar, whatever her name is.
Oh,
Bad Baby.
Bad Baby.
Her records are actually sick, though.
I know, man. It's weird because everyone was so ready to hate her, and then
I was ready, and then the records came in. I was like, "Oh fuck!"
I know. I think that
dude, you know what?
Whoever
Whoever made the decisions in that team fucking killed it.
Yeah,
because they actually went to the right producer. They were singing the right lyrics. Everything is so fine.
It's so well done. For the listeners who don't know, we're talking about the Cash Me Outside girl.
Yeah, I didn't expect that to be that cool, but it is.
It is, man. I can't
But she has, she has some competition that is... Tekashi actually has some okay songs.
He does. He does. I think for him, it's going to be a longevity problem because it's like, when he came out, he was screaming and it was like, it sounded really fresh and it kind of, you jump and you listen. But now it's like he's put out a few songs that are all just kind of him screaming. And it's like, I don't think people can listen to that forever.
Yeah, 100%. Plus, dude, I don't know, he draws so much fire.
Yeah, he's a lightning rod. I mean, he tries to. I think that's another reason why he everyone keeps talking about him because he's always trying to start.
Well, that's
some
exactly the type of energy I don't have right now.
Yeah,
I'm trying to be as relaxed with every person in the world as possible right now. Like,
that's a good philosophy, man.
I'm too tired.
Well, I mean, before you got so tired, and when things were really popping off,
I was drawing a little fire. I was a little bit of.
Well, yeah, I mean, just the whole brand of it, whatever you want to call it, was provocative, right?
Very, very provocative.
And
but also, dude, think about this. Okay, I grew up in Israel with no internet.
Right.
The only thing that actually made his way to me was shit like Dr. J, Snoop, fucking Ludacris, I don't know, everything I've seen is like MTV and shit.
Yeah.
When I wrote my first record, it was a joke because it was super far from what I actually lived. I was in the fucking army, surrounded by dudes. So
Right.
singing about all these bitches or whatever, there was no bitches. There was nothing, dude. But at the same time, I was like, okay, this is what people are singing about.
Mm,
You know, I grew up listening to bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks.
right.
You know, that was the record.
Yeah.
That was
and
the big
we're
record.
all products of our environment and influences.
Exactly.
You know?
So
Yeah.
my first record's like, okay, if this is what they're singing about, I didn't even speak English,
Right.
bro. You know, so this is the records that I wrote.
Right.
I didn't realize, like, and also the world is going into the direction, into the right direction. You know,
Yeah.
that now we're in a different space. But 10 years ago, that's the music I grew up on.
Yeah. Of course.
So that's
man.
what I was writing. And now it's, now I'm writing different music.
I'm curious if it's the same for you as it was for me, because, you strike me as we're talking about how you just want to be relaxed and chill out, and you're a soft-spoken guy. You're not, wild and crazy in person, which is the same for me. I'm mostly awkward, introverted kind of dude.
100%.
But for me, the music is when you can flip that switch and kind of, express that other part of you. Is it the same for you? Was that kind of release?
Music was literally like when I was born, there was high chance that I'll be semi-autistic. I was I was on the spectrum hard.
Okay.
They wanted me to go to special school and stuff.
Wow.
My mom insisted that I won't go to a special school, and I loved what kept me normal is music.
Okay. Is that
So-
why they got you into like an arts program?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, 100%. And so I'll socialize with other kids.
Right.
So I'll talk to other people. So I'll do something that is
Yeah.
not sit by myself and
Well, that's amazing. It seems like it worked out, right? I feel like a
to
pretty
an extent, because at the same time, the schools I went to were so competitive. If you've seen this movie Whiplash,
Yeah, I've seen
I
it.
literally went to a fucking Whiplash school, like with people with my teachers telling me every day that I'm not like I ain't shit and nothing's gonna be like I'm not gonna get anywhere in my life,
Man.
and that I suck and living with. I was among giants. I was sitting in class with coming from a family that has no musicians, sitting next to people that their whole family is musicians, and
Right.
they're fucking playing this insane shit since they're 6 years old. I was, dude, a kid in my fucking class when he was 14, he had his own signature trumpet. I'd
Yeah.
half of my class was already full scholarship to Juilliard for 3 years when they were 16.
Damn.
I was, it was fucking hard.
Yeah.
I wanted to quit every couple months. I would call my mom yo, I'm out. I can't do this shit anymore.
Yeah. Well, and if you're already dealing with, other issues as a kid, that's not going to help.
It was very hard.
Yeah.
But I finished with honors, so it's good.
Yeah, and you're here now, man. You made it work one way or another, right?
I think that the problem with geniuses is that sometimes they are too on the spectrum.
Right.
So a lot of these kids that were super unrealistically talented either went too deep and playing music right now that the general population cannot understand because it's too deep, or they went completely the other way and just fuck music, I can't do this anymore, and just went into a different job.
Yeah. That's actually interesting because it makes me wonder how you see yourself fitting into the electronic scene these days. Because in the last 5-10 years, there's been this crazy EDM explosion, all this money coming in, a million new producers, sounds evolving faster and faster. And you were kind of there, breaking this particular breed of dubstep in the US and around the world, kind of at that crucial time. But now I feel like it's a wider open field. Where do you see yourself fitting in, or do you see yourself fitting in with what's happening in dance music right now?
I feel like I help a lot with the dubstep world because of the two labels.
Yeah.
We're helping a lot of these kids. In the past, I helped a lot of the people that now everyone knows of,
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I feel like you don't get enough public credit for, reaching out to all these young kids and putting a lot of people on. Or maybe people just don't even know. But, in the community, the DJ community, so many people, I hear your name brought up, and, you were so early on a lot of those kids.
Carnage's first tour was with me. His first records were with me on Borgore. We had Jaws.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moshe Leezy, right?
Moshe Leezy started in Borgore.
Yeah.
And now we're helping the next generation, some of it through Borgore, some of that Steven helps through Slayall, Ray Volpe, Sudden Death. Getter.
And Slayall
Getter doesn't need help right now,
yeah,
but Getter started. No, he didn't start with us, but we did help him find the right direction. He started. He was kind of stuck in the firepower world.
And Slayall was your management company, right? Or is it a label also?
Slayall is Steven's management company.
Oh, okay.
I'm there. I kind of helped, but.
And Steven is your manager?
One of them, yeah.
One of them, okay. I'm just connecting
between
the
Steven
dots.
and Steve. Yeah, I helped a lot of people. I think that I'm still helping people. I would always be that one weird producer, I guess. That
Do you think you would kind of reach out to people so that what happened to you wouldn't happen to other people, in terms of, when you said you started out, people weren't really reaching out to help you?
That's exactly what dude, Borgore invented the concept of going online and looking for new people. Like when labels wouldn't want to hear about it, we were out there on SoundCloud looking for people, and this is how we found all these kids. And now, when you go to a major label, the first thing they do is they don't even open your fucking music. They go on your Instagram to see how many followers you have.
Right.
Like to see how much clout you have.
Right.
That's even before music.
Oh yeah, they don't want to jump on it unless it's already hot.
Exactly. But the concept of checking stuff on the internet before releasing it, that's exactly what Borgore did, and that's exactly how we helped a lot of these kids that no one heard of. And it would be a lot of like, yo, I have this friend, he makes this music, and it's still up to this day. It's like my friends are like, yo, I have a friend that does this and this. Oh, bring him over.
Right.
And dude, I have like a kindergarten in my house. It's all this like 20-year-old producers just sitting there all day producing music, and Sonia's buying them Starbucks.
Nice. Well, and you collaborate with a lot of them too. I was, before coming to talk to you, looking at the back catalog, and there's so many of those collaborations I'd forgotten about. Do you like working with other producers?
I love it because, dude, right now, all these young producers are using stuff in such a weird way. Like, they use plugs that I use every day in a complete different way,
right? And
make this new sounds, and it
keeps you young, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I learn all this new shit because half of these kids don't know what they're doing, but what they're doing is fucking sick.
Right, always the best way.
Exactly. So I learned.
I mean, that's how you started, right?
100%. I was trying to sound like Roscoe, Bar 9, Benga.
Yeah,
and by accident made something completely different.
I wanted to talk just for a minute about kind of the in-between where we just were. So I feel like there was a moment, probably around when you put out Decisions and all of that, when you kind of had this sort of more mainstream awareness moment, this like pop moment. Maybe from
I'm still aware. I still want to...
Not you, but in terms of like people being aware of you.
Oh.
For you, yeah, I think you've always had more of a pop ear than you get credit for. But no, I guess I'm just curious about, that time period when you had been here for a few years and just crushing it, touring it, and then all of a sudden you put out that Decisions record along with a couple other records around there that, at least for me, from where I was, all of a sudden it kind of just catapulted you to this like pop culture awareness in America for a little bit. What was that like for you? I mean, were you even aware of it at the time, or was that just kind of, you were on the ride at that point?
What I say always is, usually my mom would be like, yeah, why won't you like try to make pop, or like try to have people like more people like you. I'm like, listen, I don't think Metallica essentially wrote something they didn't want to write.
Yeah.
Or I don't think Nirvana made something they don't want to make, or Prodigy. They made themselves and they brought the mainstream to them.
Exactly.
They didn't try to come to the mainstream. And that's my guideline most of my career. And I think that, in that moment, Decisions was the record that I made to myself and the mainstream was ready to listen to.
Yeah, maybe just one of those right time, right place situations.
Especially with that Skrillex boom and everything.
Fair enough, man. It's just interesting to me, just the sort of boom and bust cycles of genres in what we do. Because, dubstep was kind of having that moment then. And then I feel like it went away for a couple of years.
And then Big Room had the moment, and Big Room is like a dirty word right now.
Oh, yeah, man. No one wants to touch that anymore.
I'm about to release a Big Room record.
Are you really?
Hell yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I fucking love that, dude. It's funny because I'm not from the Big Room world, and I am the biggest Big Room supporter.
Well, you've always made it. I mean...
Yeah, dude. Not always. It was one night with Carnage, and Diplo jumped to the studio, disappeared out for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it was me and Carnage sitting there. What the fuck are we going to make? And then we, by accident, made Big Room. And then this record exploded, and I was like, okay, I guess I can make Big Room now.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems like you've always just made what you wanted to make, right?
Yeah, but sitting with Carnage was the first time that I was brave enough to go completely overboard. And since then, I stayed overboard. But
do you ever feel sort of on the flip side that, you've established Borgore at this point? You're a well-known, popular artist. You have a certain image that we were talking about, this provocative image that goes along with it. Do you ever feel like there's something you can't do that you want to do that at this point people wouldn't accept?
Dude. I am forever going to do whatever the fuck I want. And if I want to release ballads for the rest of my career, that's what I'm going to fucking release. And I feel like if I'll do ballads, it'll probably be good enough for people to listen. I hope. I'm about to release a jazz album.
Really?
In May. And
really?
It just, there's
like straight up jazz?
100%. Trio. I'm playing the piano. There's a bass player, drum player.
Amazing.
We're doing a show in LA, I think. We're working on a show in a big festival too.
And you're releasing it as Borgore?
There's nothing, huh? Yeah,
yeah. I love that, man.
There's not, dude. There's the stigma on me. There's that image, whatever. There's doors that are a little bit harder to open, but it's back to day one, dude. No one wants to release music. Find a way to release it, dude. No one wants to do pop. Find the person that wants to do pop. No one wants to do Big Room. Find the fucking person who wants to do Big Room. Whatever, dude.
What else should people be looking out for other than the jazz album? What else do you have coming up?
The Big Room release.
Yeah.
It's actually going to come out on a big label.
What's the song called? Do you know?
Elephant.
Elephant.
Just because it sounds like angry ass elephants.
I like that.
There's also, I think I have the heaviest dubstep drop of 2018.
Strong claim.
It's a strong claim, but fuck it, I'll fucking claim it, dude. It's literally the hardest fucking drop in the universe. It sounds like you're being hunted by goddamn predators, aliens. I don't know, it's aggressive as fuck. But yesterday I sat down with one of my favorite singers right now. And it's kind of fun. It's like Decisions. When I played Miley Decisions, I didn't think she's going to... I played her all these other records. I was like, she's going to take them. She's not going to touch Decision.
Yeah.
She's like, I want Decision. So I said yesterday with a singer I really like. And I played him a bunch of records. And he heard this song with the huge, insane fucking drop. He was like, yeah, I like it. I want to sing on that. I said, oh, okay.
All right.
I guess now it's a pop dubstep record. so now we have a very poppy intro into the most aggressive shit. So
hey, man,
I promise you another.
It worked last time, right? So
yeah, it worked, dude. It worked, dude. It worked. When it's good, it's good.
Yeah,
doesn't matter. We have a bunch of dude. I'm fucking with so many genres right now.
Yeah,
honestly.
Well, it sounds like you're.
I have a hip hop record coming.
Okay,
it was a big hip hop dude. Really, really big hip hop dude. Huge hip hop dude.
Nice. And it sounds like you're kind of just in love with the studio right now, right? Just making a lot.
It's another thing about just being 30 and just I'm not going out.
Yeah.
I'm not partying. I'm literally just in the studio,
That's good, man.
making records. I wake up in the morning. I force these kids to come to my house every day at 10 a.m. so I see they're working too because they're lazy.
I like
so we
that.
literally, I have a little Borgore school of music. We all wake up at 10, work on music till like 5 or 6, and then we all play video games. Because my problem was when I didn't have that like 10 to 6, 10 to 7, I would just like wake up, play video game for 3 hours, work for a half an hour, wouldn't have. It's way better for me to like have that 10 to 5, 10 to 6, then I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, I'm the same way,
I want to take
man.
my girlfriend to dinner, I take her to dinner. I want to go climbing, I go climbing. I want to play video games, I'll play video games.
I'm the same way, man. No, I like keeping the regular hours. It makes you feel like more of just a normal person, too.
And on tour, it's a little harder.
Yeah. Tour kind of goes out the window.
But this is why I'm so prolific, because I started like January, I started doing this 10 to 5, 10 to 6. And it actually works, dude. I actually have tons of records because I'm not playing video game the whole day.
Right.
Because I'm not like sitting on my Twitter all the day. I know that like at 5, 6, I can start doing the rest of the shit. Also, it takes some of the anxiety away because when you work from 10 to 5, even if you weren't prolific, if there's no record, at least you know you tried.
Exactly.
But when you're just like, when your whole day is messy, like a lot of the time you sit there watching TV and feeling bad about watching TV because why am I watching TV but I'm not in the studio?
Yeah. So you get that anxiety, that pressure. Yeah. I get that too, man. Yeah. I think Kill the Noise said that, if you sit all day in the studio and you don't end up with a good song or anything, you're still sharpening the swords, At least
100%.
Yeah.
Dude, like just sitting in the studio all day the past couple months, I feel like my level of production is way more. And also, I just signed a pop deal. So I'm doing a lot of like writing for other people. And every session is completely different.
That's got to be inspiring.
Dude, it's so nice. Like, I just wrote a Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake type of record for this dude from Scandinavia.
Oh, dope.
Yesterday I had like a super like chill Alina Baraz type of session. I had some sessions for myself that were more aggressive, but like every session is someone comes to you with a different like vibe and you have to now try something you've never tried before. And then you take these tools and bring them back to your production. I feel like a way better producer in 2018 than I was in 2017.
That's great, man. I mean, where do you see yourself 10 years from now, 20 years from now? Do you still want to be doing it?
When I look at producers that are like goals, Calvin Harris is a goal more than some of the touring dudes. Right. I want to have a residency in Vegas and Ibiza and 10, 20 number one hits.
Yeah.
Rather than being on the road every single I'm no longer a road person.
Right.
I wanna have big records and just do big festivals, big shows. I wanna fucking be on that level. That's the dream. I'm not saying I'm there at all.
No.
I'm not there at all. That's a goal.
Yeah.
Also, like another producer that I look up to is Mark Ronson.
Right.
Just dude, there's some people that are just legendary.
He can do anything. He's amazing.
Legend.
We end the show just by asking a simple question. You don't have to think about it too hard. One time in your life when music in a moment really changed your brain, really affected you deeply. It can be something from
I honestly think it's that one night in Israel that I've heard dubstep for the first time.
That's it.
I don't think I'll ever forget that night. Just hearing a Midnight Request line for the first time. I was like, what is this craziness? I went home that day and I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do.
That's it. It set you on the course.
I was like, I like trance. I like reggae. I like hip hop. I like drum and bass. Dubstep just took everything and threw it into a pot.
Yeah.
And now everything is possible. Thanks to dubstep.
It is amazing how music can just give you those moments of clarity. That's a great way to
dubstep was like an open source. It was a new genre.
Brand new.
That everything goes. Literally, one song would be a grime record. One song would be a hip hop record. One song was a reggae. One song had a reggae drop. One song had a drum and bass drop. Like in the vibe. I'm not saying in the BPM, but like it was right in the middle as far as BPM. It was just like, you can put 40 kicks in a drop. You can put 1 kick in a drop.
Right.
There was no rules.
No rules. It was brand new.
Exactly.
That's exciting, man. I think that's, for all of us, a feeling we should try to get back to whenever we
it's
can.
hard now, dude.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It is, but I mean,
There's
I
a
think...
lot of rules now.
Yeah, but, you know, those are meant to be broken. You were talking about the young producers, like, doing everything the wrong way.
Yeah, but now rhythm is it's very clear what it is.
Right. But I mean, then it's just up to something else to come in and be the next one, right?
Everyone wants to claim the next one, but...
Yeah, nobody. I don't believe anyone who says they know what's going to be next, but I am excited to see what it's going to be.
100%.
Well, hey, this was great, dude. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you, dude.
Absolutely.
Sick shirt.
Oh.
Sepultura, dude. Let's go.
Peace. All right, that's the show. Shout out to Borgore. Great to sit down with you, man. I really enjoyed that conversation. Don't forget, Borgore's jazz album called Adventures in Time is out right now. He's going to be on tour all summer, hitting a bunch of big festivals, Europe. Just keep an eye peeled. I'm going to put a link in the description of this show where you can get all the music, all the tour dates, all that good stuff. My name is Willy Joy. Keep an eye peeled to my social media as well, at Willy Joy or at Back to Back Pod. I'm telling you, this week, big announcement coming. I hope everyone out there is having a great time. I hope you're getting ready for the summer. You know, the sun is coming out, good vibes. I don't know. There's something about music in the summer. It's just the perfect combination. So I love you guys. This is Willy Joy. I'll talk to you next week. Have a good one. Peace.